Ezra Levant from the Rebel.media. I'm here in northern Iraq in the small town of Mangesh. I am in the yard of a church. You can see the church down there with a cross on the gate. There's about 50 temporary cabins. They call them caravans. Here, that's just the phrase they use. They're small self-contained units, about 50 families literally in the backyard of a church. And they've been here since ISIS drove the Christians out of the plains of Nineveh, where there were lots of little all-Christian towns. This is not a United Nations refugee camp. It's a Christian camp because of the Christians, of course, have no place in UN refugee camps. They're persecuted by the Muslim refugees there. So that's where I am. You may have seen me say that before, but I have a new thought, a reflection on the last couple of days. We've seen the persecuted people in northern Iraq, especially the Christians, also some Yazidis, another religious minority. But over the last couple of days, we've spent time with righteous Muslims, Kurdish Muslims who protect Christians. We met the other day with a brigadier, a general, whose job was to stop the Islamic State, repel them from the Christian towns, and defend the Christian towns. We met with the Muslim Peshmerga troops, including the counter-terrorist forces. And today, we met with the Muslim Kurd who's the head of the tribe in the region, that's a phrase he uses, who told us at great lengths what he has done and will do to protect the religious minority of Christians. This town is an interesting town. It's about 60-40 Muslim Christian. The mayor is a Christian, but there's great harmony between the Christians and Muslims. Now, how can this be? How can there be places of harmony like this town of Mangesh, short miles from where the Islamic State used the Quran as their authority to commit a genocide against Christians? Well, I think the Kurds have it right in the same way that the Ismaili Muslims have it right, another liberal, progressive, egalitarian denomination of Islam. And here's the thing, and I talked to the tribal chief about this at lunch today. For Kurdish Muslims, at least those that we've met, and those in the Peshmerga and this tribal leader, their primary identity is not religious. It's not from the text of the Quran itself. It's a form of civic nationalism. And we talked about what the elements of that are. Language, they speak Kurdish. Geography, they're from a proto-country they call Kurdistan. A history, a shared history of being beat up by other nations, of certain rivalries with the Turks, with other groups. So there's a language, there's a history, there's a culture. I'm not talking about religion. There's a geography, there's a history and a story they want to keep writing. I think that's the definition of civic nationalism, and it subordinates religious identity. Both Christians and Muslims we've spoken to in this bicultural or bi-religious town of Mangesh ascribe to that same Kurdish nationalism. Now, there are issues that arise with Kurdish nationalism and any other nationalism, especially those in this tinderbox of a region where, you know, race and religion are still so hot. But I put it to you that in this dangerous neighborhood where the Quran is being used as a doctrine of war and genocide, the Kurdish approach to religion, the Kurdish approach to Islam, that it is subordinate to a civic nationalism. That Kurdish approach is the best approach. As we go through Kurdistan, we're constantly asked what we think of Kurdish independence, because on September 25th, they're going to have a referendum to that effect. Well, as I spend more time here, my resolve is strengthened. Yes, I want an independent Kurdistan, even though that will break up the country and the region and cause other untold consequences. I want that because I prefer a Kurdish civic nationalism to the religious fascist nationalism inherent in the Islamic State, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and other theocratic countries in this neighborhood. So yeah, civic nationalism, if you wonder what it looks like, That's Kurdistan. For the Rebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant. I'm here in the northern Iraqi town of Mangesh, which is about 60% Muslim, 40% Christian. We're studying the genocide against Christians in Iraq. If you want to learn more about our journalism and our humanitarian mission, go to SaveTheChristians.com.